dance, and then we're going to get into dinner so that we can quickly get into dancing as fast as possible. First of all, I want to thank my mom and dad. For those of you who rehearsed there yesterday, Katelyn said this more eloquently than I can, but my mom is one of the most selfless people in the whole world. She is just the kindest soul, and Mom, thank you for everything that you've done for me. Thank you for everything you've done for Katelyn and everything you've done for our wedding. You know, I appreciate you so much more than you know, and I love you.
That's 5 pounds.
There's a bet on how many times.
The line is 8.5. We feel good. Mr. Chuck. My dad is one of my closest friends. He has been huge in this wedding. He helped us not just physically plan the wedding, but he also physically constructed some of the stuff you've seen, like the easel with the mirror, and like just. I'm trying to get him to move down here. The last 2 days, weather should help. I live in Iowa, man. It gets cold sometimes. Steve, man, I can't explain to you how much I appreciate how welcoming you've been to me, you and your beautiful wife, Denise. It's a big challenge for me and my brother moving down here, which was awesome, but, you know, moving away from your whole family, you have welcomed me with open arms to your family, and I appreciate it so much. And it's going to be a similar sentiment. One of the first times, right when we started dating, I went to Thanksgiving with Anne, and the first thing she said to me was, "Does your brother live?" And me and Katelyn had just started. And like I said, it's one of the most challenging things about moving down here is just being away from family, and you welcomed me with open arms, and you have been incredible in helping us plan and execute the wedding and all the stuff that goes with it, so thank you so much. I want to give a thanks to the bride and groom's parties. Not just for everything this weekend, but for 2 very memorable bachelor and bachelorette parties. If you haven't heard about the bachelor party at all, you can ask any of the groomsmen and they'll tell you in so much detail. I guess the saying goes now, what happens in Vegas is discussed over and over again. I want to thank my lovely wife. You look hot. You are the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so glad we're married. I want to thank all of you for coming. A lot of you have come from Iowa or farther away. I really want to take time to spend time with all of you, but that does mean you're going to have to get your asses out on the dance floor, because that's where I belong. A lot of people here, I've been to weddings before with them. You know I like to dance at weddings. For those of you who haven't gone to a wedding with me, get ready to think a whole lot less of me. I really enjoy it. It's not great. Arguably, I should have invited so many coworkers if I was going to dance the way I'm about to, but that's what happens when you meet the love of your life. I believe this. So, thank you all very much.
Well said, sweetie. Well said. As the project manager and planner that I am, I'm going to cover logistics. acoustics for the rest of the evening. So we have a lovely buffet by RBL Catering. So if you would, when you get called up, the band will call tables by numbers, bring your plate with you to the buffet. And then we'll get into some speeches and dances as we finish up your meal. And then at 9 o'clock, the shuttle will start taking guests who need to go back to the hotel. And then those of us that want to keep staying and having a good time, the shuttle will continue throughout the rest of the evening. And then we do have a very casual, informal, with maybe some karaoke, after party at the Woodside House. So for those that want to continue on, you can take the shuttle and it'll drop you off at Woodside, and we'll continue on through the evening. But we're just so blessed to have each and every one of you here. There's folks from Arkansas, Florida, Texas, of course Iowa is very well represented, my North Carolina crew, New York. Where's my New York? Yes, New York. So from near and far, we really appreciate each and every one of you coming to celebrate with us. We love you all. So thank you, and let's do it.
We'd like to invite you to come up and give a blessing for the food.
All right, consecration. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Gracious God, we know that nothing makes you or us more glad than really good barbecue. And we ask that you would bless it, and you would bless this marvelous couple and their families and their friends, and that you would grant them joy always, but most especially this night. And we ask that this would be a foretaste of all the good things and all the splendor that is to come through this marvelous marriage. And we fervently offer this as thankfully as we can through Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, our one God, now and always. Amen.
Thank you, Richard.
Hello. Is that good? Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Kelsey. I am Katelyn's sister. Oh, closer? Okay. Hello. Okay. So start over. I'm Kelsey. I'm Katelyn's sister. I will refer to her as Katie in the speech because that's what I call her. So, first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Littler. All right. As kids, I feel like I was the typical older sister, and I was in charge of deciding what we were going to do or what we were going to play. Okay, pretty much like every day. Katie would spend hours next to me as I played computer games like Roller Coaster Tycoon or The Sims. We would have so much fun creating sim characters together that we would put so much effort into creating their looks and building their houses, knowing that in just a few hours we were going to get bored with the game and have them swim in a pool, remove the stairs, and watch them drown. Which, looking back, seems pretty mean. Another thing we did a lot together when we were younger was play with Barbies. We had Barbie airplanes, airports, VW buses. We had so many Barbies that I would make Katelyn sit with me for hours and play Miss America on a giant map. We would have each of them dress in a different state and dress in dresses, and Katelyn would do their talent, and she would sing all different kinds of songs. And then as we got older, we would get Ken dolls, and we would pretend that they would get married, and they would take those airplanes and go to the airports and fly all over the world. A trait that Katie had when we were kids, which she has carried into her adult life, is that she is always moving around or doing something. There isn't one vacation that we went on where she didn't do cartwheels down the hall of the hotel, no beach trip without multiple photos of her leaping across the sand as we looked for seashells. She couldn't even sit still during television commercial breaks. She would be up next to the TV pretending to be Vanna White during Wheel of Fortune, and then during commercial breaks, she would start dancing, spinning, and doing cartwheels to the point where our carpet had to get restretched because she buckled it. As you and Levi have probably already noticed, this day has too flown by. I want you two to take a few seconds and be still to look around the room. A room filled with so much love and support as you two start the next chapter of your lives together. Now I want you two to look at each other. I want you two to remember that in this moment, this is your future. Marriage is the most wonderful thing, but it requires a lot of work. There are going to be moments in life where one or both of you feel as if you're drowning, and it's important in those moments to remember that you are each other's stairs to get out of the water. Levi, I want to thank you for being my sister's Ken to her Barbie. We are so excited to have you into our family, and I hope you guys are like our Barbies and travel the world together. On that note, I have a small gift, so I gotta go back over there. So Katelyn has her own wedding Barbie doll now. So on that note, I just want to thank you, everyone again for coming. Congratulations to you two and everyone. To Mr. and Mrs. Littler.
Hi everyone, I'm the maid of honor, Katherine. So I've known Katelyn through many eras of her life. We first met in high school and got to know each other pretty well in Mr. Gwaltney's AP English and US History class. The entire class was divided into groups, and we were in competition for the highest overall score on assignments, and our group was constantly in the lead, kicking butt, taking names. Though we didn't know each other super well then, we decided at the end of high school that we were going to room together in college. And this is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, and one that I've been eternally grateful for. Katelyn's college era started off largely the same as my own. We were both excited to experience our newfound independence, explore the world on our own terms, and of course, focus on our studies. We got to go on our first international trip alone to Europe together. We shared many victories. We were together through multiple heartbreaks, fun nights that seemed they would never end, late night studying, themed house parties, music jam sessions, and spontaneous storm dance parties, just the two of us. Together, we grew from bright-eyed, bushy-tailed high school graduates to grown-up bachelors of science, ready to tackle the world. It's been such a beautiful thing to watch Katelyn step into this new adult era of her life. I remember the first time she told me about Levi, her voice was giddy as she described him as her work crush and talked about how much fun she had with him at the Hops for Hope event. I was elated to hear that her work crush had turned into something more and to see the joy that this love has brought her ever since. I'm so overjoyed and grateful to see my best friend thriving in this era of her life with Levi, from living in a fancy apartment to heart of downtown Raleigh, to purchasing her first home, completing an MBA, and landing an amazing new job. Levi, I am so happy that Katelyn has found you. Thank you so much for being such an amazing partner to Katelyn, for taking care of her and supporting her and being her biggest cheerleader. I've never seen Katelyn happier, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for both of you. Finally, Katelyn, thank you so much for the friendship all these years. I have been so blessed to have a friend like you, someone I can always have a great time with, someone who I can always call, someone who has always been there for me through the highs and lows of life. I am so happy you found your person, and I love you both so much. Congratulations, you two, and cheers to a lifetime of happiness.
So, for those of you who do not know me, I have a distinct, there we go. I have a kind of a distinct honor. I am not only Levi's best man, but his identical twin brother. So I did some research on what these speeches are supposed to be, and there's two main things. You're supposed to talk about how you met and how you became best friends, but those were pre-existing conditions for me and Levi. So I guess with the time I have left over, I want to talk about twins. People are fascinated by twins, and I cannot blame you. We are very interesting. So I want to do 3 frequently asked questions that twins always get, and if I have time, I'll sprinkle in a couple nice things about Levi. So the first one, this one's really easy. Is twin telepathy real? No. I cannot read minds. That's not one of my powers. I can understand why people think it's real. Me and Levi's inside jokes have evolved to the point where all it takes is him looking at me, and he could mean 100 different things, and only I know what he's talking about. I call it the twin look. But again, not telepathy. Some questions are harder than they should be, like who's older? For those of you who don't know, my parents, in their infinite wisdom, have never told me and Levi who is older between the two of us. And it was cute at first, right? I get it. They were thinking, oh, they're going to tease each other, but I mean, we're in our 30s now, guys. You bring that up at work, it does not go well. So I just lie at this point. I always say Levi's older, and that's easy for me, because in a lot of ways I've looked up to Levi. Levi's always been the one to pick me up when I'm down, and check me when my ego gets a little too big. And when my work talk gets a little too zealous, he'll hit me with the twin look that only I understand. And that twin look says, Josh, no one gives a shit about your job. So that's not the most common question though. Easily the most common question that twins get is, what's it like to have a twin? Again, not something I think about a lot. I'm sure you guys don't spend time thinking about what it's like to not have a twin. It just is what it is. But I put some time into it. I'd say what it's like to have a twin means always being understood. Can you imagine if I told Levi he wouldn't understand? It's like we're genetically identical, grew up together, had all the same friends, did all the same activities, both ended up moving to North Carolina to be engineers, but no, you wouldn't understand. And I know I understand Levi really well. If I could highlight the best thing about Levi, Levi's the person who makes good times better. I've got 3 quick examples. First one, bachelor party in Vegas. We were playing golf at Valley High. The weather was perfect. All of our friends were there. And Nick Beckman, one of the groomsmen, hits a hole-in-one. Couldn't be better. And everyone froze. Just panic attack, deer in the headlights stood there. Except Levi. By the time anyone else reacted, Levi was hauling ass 100 yards down the fairway, screaming his head off because he knew that's exactly what that moment needed. My second example was when I made the decision to move to North Carolina. I accepted a job, and I was fully committed to coming down here by myself and focusing on my career. And I texted Levi I accepted a job, and he called me, and he said, hey, would it be weird if I also moved there? And I was like, yeah, a little bit, you know? That's very twins. But, I was excited. I was like, yeah, man, if you get a job, that would be great. That would be so awesome to come down here with you. By the end of the week, he had a job. By the end of the month, we moved. And by the end of the year, thanks to him and Tori, we had a friend group of 20-plus people that I'm, proud to call my friends. But the best example of Levi taking a good thing and making it better is, Katherine alluded to it, Hops for Hope. Hops for Hope is a charity event where corporate sponsors like Levi's company team up with a brewery, you make your own custom beer, and you raise money for sick children. And again, for most people that'd be plenty, right? That's a great event. But not for Levi. Levi took the opportunity to lock down one of the most charismatic and beautiful people I've ever met in my life. Speaking of Special K, Katelyn, you are one of the most loved people I've ever met. Everyone who meets you doesn't just want to be your friend, they want to be your best friend. You're accomplished, you're fun to talk to, you don't mind when I talk about work sometimes, which is great. But that's not why I love you. I love you because you make my brother better. Since he met you, he's become more disciplined. He's a little bit cleaner. But most importantly, Katelyn, since he's met you, he's been happier. And as his identical twin brother, that's all I can ask for. So, to being understood and to being happier. So, cheers, Katelyn and Levi.